I got up at 6 a.m. I got into my truck, went to the liquor store. Per the usual, I bought a huge bottle of blueberry vodka. I sat in my truck, and within 20 minutes, I drank the whole thing. I went to my friend's house. I picked up her and her child, and I was drinking and driving and acting crazy all day long. Just continuously drinking. We went and had sushi for lunch. I was drinking sake, like it was just wild. And it was the 3rd anniversary of my mom's death, and I just didn't want to feel it. And so I did what I always do, and I just drank and drank and drank and drank, just completely irresponsibly. And I was driving my friend home in the evening, and there was a police officer behind me. And normally when I saw a police officer behind me, I would fix myself. I would sit up straight, I would put my hands on the wheel, I would slow down. But that's not the thought that I had when I saw that police officer. I looked over at my friend and I almost said it out loud, but I kept it to myself. And I said to myself, I need to go to jail today.
Today's guest is my dear friend, Angela Mayora, motivational speaker and peak performance mindset coach. Angela is the most loving, committed, and powerful peak performance mindset on the planet. Using her life experiences, she provides massive results to her clients. Being a resilient survivor, a compassionate guide, and a dedicated coach who has triumphant over a life punctuated by trials and challenges. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to getting to know you better.
Awesome. Let's go.
So what is one of the most courageous things you have done?
Wow. One of the most courageous things I've done for sure is check myself into a psychiatric hospital at 12 years sober.
Wow.
I said at the beginning of my sobriety that I was willing to go to any lengths to stay sober.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly that even meant even if I had to check myself into a psychiatric hospital. So that's exactly what I did because I wanted to drink alcohol and I wanted to die.
That is in itself a big decision and a major one. So, Angela, share about how your life started out, because especially I know we've spoke about your childhood and which your mother tortured you. Do you want to tell us a bit about your story there and how it all begun, please?
Sure, absolutely. So I grew up with my brother and my sister. I was the middle child, and my mom was a San Diego police officer torturing her children at home. It was pretty horrific. Lots of different things she did to torture us. She had her favorite things that she did all the time, and that was, needless to say, tough to deal with. When I was 5 years old, I was taken away from her and put into foster care where I was abused by the foster children there. They only kept us away for about a month, and we went back with her. And then the abuse continued for years. And when I was 14 years old, I was taken away again, and I was put into foster care. And from the ages of 14 to 18 years old, I was in 16 foster homes and 6 high schools. When I was 16, I started drinking alcoholically because I didn't want to deal with the past. I just wanted to numb myself. So that's what I did. When I turned 18, I got a basketball scholarship. I wanted to be as far away from my mom as possible. So I ended up in Wyoming, and I played there only for a couple months because all I really cared about was numbing myself out and drinking. I wasn't ready for the academic challenge at the time. So from there, I just started traveling around the country trying to escape. But everywhere I went, there I was. My drinking continued to progress. And, I had a lot of good careers. I retired law enforcement, real estate agent. I did so many things drunk. Professionally, it was not good. I was causing a lot of pain to everyone around me, everyone that cared about me, and the most pain to myself.
So how did you manage to carry on though you were drinking? Like you said, you managed to have, you were in the Air Force and all these different jobs you did. So functioning alcoholic then?
I guess you could say that for sure. I mean, I never, when I had a really high bottom when I stopped drinking, like nothing, I didn't end up in jail. I didn't kill anyone. Nothing really terrible happened, but I would go to work drunk. I was in the Air Force and I would go to work drunk. I was a police officer in the Air Force, and security forces was what we were called. And, it didn't matter. I just didn't want to feel. And as a correctional officer, I would be drinking hard alcohol on the way to work, knowing I had a gun post that day. I was in a male institution, level 4, murderers, rapists,
Wow.
child molesters, like the worst of the worst, knowing that I had to survive and help my colleagues survive. And I would just go drunk and nobody knew, nobody noticed, nobody tested me, nothing. I was just drunk all the time for 16 years.
Wow. I think somebody was looking after you for sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
So, what was the turning point? What made you realize that this has got to stop?
Yeah, well, alcohol took my mom's life
Mm-hmm.
in 2006, and my drinking really took off when that happened. I
Mm-hmm.
really didn't think it would affect me at all when she died. I found out she had a year left to live,
Wow.
and I was wrong. I was so wrong. I never had a relationship with her as an adult, and I really thought the world would be a better place when she was gone.
Mm-hmm.
But when she died, it really affected me because I always envisioned her waking up one day and wanting to be a mom, and that was shattered. So it
Mm-hmm.
was the 3-year anniversary of her death. I got up at 6 a.m. I got into my truck, went to the liquor store. Per the
Mm-hmm.
usual, I bought a huge bottle of blueberry vodka. I sat in my truck, and within 20 minutes, I drank the whole thing. I went to my friend's house. I picked up her and her child, and I was drinking and driving and acting crazy all day long, just continuously drinking. We went and had sushi for lunch. I was drinking sake. Like, it was just wild. And it was the 3 anniversary of my mom's death, and I just didn't want to feel it. And so
Mm-hmm.
I did what I always do, and I just drank and drank and drank and drank, just completely irresponsibly. And I was driving my friend home in the evening, and there was a police officer behind me. And normally, when I saw a police officer behind me, I would fix myself. I would sit up straight. I would put my hands on the wheel. I would slow down. But that's not the thought that I had when I saw that police officer. I looked over at my friend and I almost said it out loud, but I kept it to myself. And I said to myself, I need to go to jail today.
Mm-hmm.
As a law enforcement officer, like the insanity, instead of saying it out loud to her, I kept it to myself and I hit my gas pedal as hard as I could. I was in a business area, so speed limit was 35 miles an hour. And I hit my gas pedal as hard as I could, weaving in and out of cars, just speeding, driving recklessly, trying to get pulled over. And I did not get pulled over.
Wow. How? How did
Two
that not
minutes,
happen?
because I know exactly how and why. God was looking out for me. And
Mm.
2 minutes later, I'm on the same road. There was a police officer standing on the side of the road, no police car anywhere that I saw. And he was pointing a radar gun at me. I said, thank you, God. Here's my second opportunity. I don't know how this guy's going to pull me over, but I'm going to go drive by him really fast. So I hit my gas pedal and I flew by him going over 70 miles an hour, and nothing happened to me. I got
Insane.
to my friend's house. I dropped her and her kid off, and I went home and I passed out. And by the grace of God, the next morning, I remembered that I had wanted to go to jail the day before, and nothing like that's ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that day,
Wow.
I drank some more. And then the next day, I drank some more, and I went with my cousin. We were playing pool and drinking all day. And I told him, hey, after we're done here, I'm going to go to a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm done with this. Like, I'm going to kill myself or somebody else. Like, I have to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea. I left him and I had no idea where I was going. I just put the directions in my phone. And the meeting ended up being behind the last high school, or the last high school that I went to, the one that I graduated from. So I went to
Mm-hmm.
6 different high schools, and the meeting just coincidentally was there. And so I went there, and that was February 6th of 2010, and I've been sober ever since. So 14 years. I took 14 years in February.
Wow. That's a real achievement. And wow, just thinking about that, anything could have happened. Absolutely anything. You could have hurt yourself, could have hurt someone else, but you were really looked after. Definitely. How the police never stopped you. That wouldn't happen here in England for sure. I just can't believe that. So I know you talk about identity and everything's important about healing and forgiving ourselves. Tell me more about that and your work that you do now.
Yeah, so every day I'm striving for next level. Like for me
Hmm.
personally, because I believe, and this is what I teach my clients, is that it all starts with us.
Hmm.
And there's so many different areas of our lives. And, as I started healing and growing, I would just focus on one area. Like maybe it was, my body, and I would work on my weight loss and like maybe get into the gym sometimes. It was always halfway. It was never fully
Mm.
committed. And now today, I'm fully committed to every area of my life. I'm committed to my marriage. I'm committed to myself personally. I'm committed to my spiritual life. Every area I'm 100% committed, and I'm always looking at who I'm being in every area, in every situation. This growth that I've experienced, that I experience every day because I seek it,
Hmm.
has been incredible.
You chose from being a victim to really getting your life on track. What would you say to people that are drinking so much right now?
Yeah, just not to the people that are drinking, though. I think
Hmm.
that the majority of people are doing something that they're
Yeah,
not proud of. It
absolutely.
doesn't necessarily have to be drinking. It could
Hmm.
be, the drug abuse. It could be shopping. It's different for different people.
Hmm.
But what I would say is that there's a reason that I was drinking. There's a reason that someone's out there drinking and using drugs and, spending a lot of money. It's getting to the root of that and realizing that what our experiences have been don't define us. That's not who we are. And I was a victim because I said I was a victim.
Hmm.
I said, when I was drinking, I said, if you experienced the torture that I experienced as a child, you'd be drinking too. Like, that was my excuse. I realized
Totally.
that it doesn't define who I am.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's hiding something and that they're ashamed of, and they want to like hide under something else. So it's all the different layers and layers on top. Only if they could just stop for whatever reason and understand it's about stripping them back. Like you said, it's the root cause. And I know that can be difficult at times. Of course it can, but it's reaching out to someone that they trust and can help. And I think a trust comes into it a lot as well, because I think usually people, if they've had something going on, who do they turn to? It is difficult, but there are a lot of helplines out there as well. And there's people, friends that they could turn to for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Trust is still something to
Mm,
this day
mm,
that I work on, right? And it's trusting myself has been
mhm,
the huge accomplishment. Being able to trust
mm,
myself, but every
mm,
day. It's an everyday thing. It's a now thing.
mm, mhm, mhm,
I love how you said like it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of what a lot of people don't like, and that's putting the mirror up and looking at for me it was looking at myself in the mirror
mm,
and realizing that I was the problem. I blamed it on my mom. Yeah, she had a hard childhood. Her father was an alcoholic. Her father did the same thing to her that she did to me and my brother and sister. But I had to look in the mirror and look at my part in it. And a lot of people don't like to do that.
mm.
But I created that 16 years of madness and insanity. My mom didn't create that. I created it. And I had to own that. And once I owned that and started looking at that, and that took courage. It wasn't easy. I'm not going to sit here and
Mm.
say it was easy. It wasn't, but it was worth it.
Yeah, definitely. I think there is a lot of people that just want to hide away, and it's always somebody else's fault. It's about owning, okay, I have a responsibility to myself. What's my part that I've played in it? And people just don't, because it's easier to push the blame somewhere else. Of course it is. Yes, I can understand that. So it is paramount to forgive yourself and heal, for sure. Whatever it is, it's working on ourselves. And like you said, you've done a lot of work. You've got to where you are now by owning who you are. What would you say to anybody that wants to start doing something like that for themselves?
I would definitely say what's been humongous for me is hiring a coach, because we all have blind spots. The
Mm,
person that I am today, I'm radically in love with myself. I'm incredible. Like, I know how great I am. I have stepped into my greatness. It's not arrogance, right? Like, I have gotten to a point, and I wish this for so many people that they could get to that point where they've stepped into their own greatness.
mm,
But I said it earlier, like every day I strive to be the best version of myself. And I know that I have blind spots. So I've had coaches, and I've hired the best coaches because I want to be better every day. And I can't just walking around thinking that I know everything. And not just my coaches, but everyone is my teacher. So I would say hire a life coach. That is the best move that I could have ever made, because I don't know it all, and I'm never going to know it all, and I'm always going to have blind spots.
Absolutely. Being a coach myself, it's not only are we coaches, but we have our own coaches and mentors because we need the support as well. Absolutely. It's an ongoing evolution. There's always something else, we could learn about ourselves all the time, every day. It's phenomenal when you think, yeah, you've got so far, and then, oh, actually, I need to do that bit now as well. Yeah, for sure.
I would say to be of service to others, to help others. This is something that I didn't understand for a very, very, very long time. I would be in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. I would be sharing about, oh, poor me in the beginning of my sobriety, and I'm the victim, and I'm going to go swim in Lake Me. And every time I got up and shared after the meeting, somebody would come up to me after the meeting and tell me, go do something for somebody else. And I
Mm,
was like, get away from me. Like, I didn't understand at all. But today I get it. Like, I would say, get out there and be of service. And it doesn't have to be something huge, it doesn't have to be something big. Something small, open the door for somebody, smile at somebody. That's being of service. Show up, suit up and show up.
mm,
Do
ab-
things even though you don't feel like doing them. That is discipline.
mm,
So I would encourage people to get out there like what I do. I'm a motivational speaker. I just got
mm.
asked to speak in Scotland. I love sharing my experience, strength, and hope. I would encourage people to get out there and share and not be ashamed of what they've been through, because when they have the courage to speak up, they're helping others. That is also being of service. So be of service.
Absolutely. And tell me more about your work, because that's brilliant. Yes, you're going to speak in Scotland. So you see a second trip to England within so many months.
Yeah, I just want to say again that we are who we say we are. I said I was a victim. That's exactly what I was. I am a victim. I am a drunk. I was being all of those things. But
Mm,
today I'm none of those things. And I've declared myself the best motivational speaker on planet Earth and all of the other planets. And that's who I am because I said that's who I am.
mhm,
I've spoke most recently. The last time I spoke was in January at the Ultimate Experience in Arizona,
mhm,
and now I'm going to be speaking in Scotland to children, educators, and teachers. And I'm going to be sharing my signature talk on resilience. And yeah, so I coach one-on-one with people, committed people, people that will want to be better.
yes.
And then I speak. I share
And
my experience, strength, and hope all around the world.
I think that's a really good point you made there. People that want to be helped. Everybody, anybody can do anything, but do they actually want to take the actions given? That's really a key point here. Can you just say more about that?
Yeah, nothing changes until we change.
Mm,
Nothing changes until I change. Because nothing outside of me means anything. It means everything inside of me and how I'm
yeah,
thinking and how I'm feeling. It all starts with me.
definitely. Absolutely. And once we realize that, it's a dominoes effect. You keep on going and keep going. Yeah, you want to better yourself. Absolutely. I think it's that point of getting there as well is the hardest. Once you've made that change, anything is possible.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
never want to remain stagnant. I always want to move
Mm.
forward every day.
That's the beauty in it. You can. I know we talked about this. You've given us many tools, daily tips that anyone wants to start rebuilding their lives. What would you say is the key takeaway? What would you say is the key takeaway of everything you've learned?
The key takeaway, doesn't take long to think about it all. The one thing that has changed everything for me is meditation. Meditation, being silent, being in the silence. The greatest gift that I could give to you right now or anybody else in front of me is my ability to be present, to be in the now. And the only way that I've been able to do that is by slowing down my brain waves and sitting silent in meditation. And when I do that, I'm able to speak not from my ego. I'm able to hear not from what I want to hear, not from my ego, but with my heart. Meditation's changed everything for me. And it's not a people make it a big thing. I mentioned meditation to somebody yesterday that I was coaching.
Hmm.
And she was like, "Oh, I'm going to take a class on it next week." I'm like, "How about you stop what you're doing and close your eyes for 60 seconds and just breathe and just focus on your breath. Don't think about anything, but when the thought comes, just greet it and let it go and continue focusing on your breath." And she did it and she felt amazing. So we
Wow.
tend as humans to make things so big and so complicated in our head, but simplicity is the answer. And that's what meditation has helped me realize.
Wow. That's absolutely amazing. Slowing down, quietening the mind. Absolutely. Or have nothing on the mind. Just be there. Absolutely. So, Angela, what is one of the most important lessons you've learned over your life so far?
What we've already discussed, absolutely, that
Mm-hmm.
my experiences, even my experiences today, don't define me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not perfect. It's progress, not perfection. So I mess up sometimes. And today I don't beat myself up over it. and I don't make that my identity or something that would happen to me. I don't make that my identity. I forgive myself and I move on.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. Because at times we can get stuck in it. Oh, I shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't have done that. Just clean up and move on. Absolutely. We all make mistakes. We all mess up at times, but it's easy to stay in it. It'd be a lot nicer to move on. Forgiveness. I think there's a key point in forgiveness all the time. Clean up your messes, forgive yourself, and move on. And we don't forgive ourselves. So yeah, that's brilliant. Is there any books you recommend or anything that has helped you? Any books that have helped you?
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of books that I've read. I've read a ton of books. I read a book
Mhm.
a week.
Wow.
But there's certain books that I study,
Hmm.
and some of them are the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I study The Way of Mastery. But my favorite book of all time, a book that has helped me tremendously, is a book called The Ultimate Coach.
Mm.
Amy Hardison is the author of the book, and it's a book about being.
Hmm.
It's not a book about coaching. It's not a book about doing anything. It's a book about being, 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 who we're
Mm.
being in every moment, every situation, regardless of what's going on around us. And, for so many years, I chose, like I said, to be sober, be angry, be worried, be fearful. But that's not
Hmm.
who I choose to be today. Today, I choose to be sober. I choose to be happy. It's all a choice.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend The Ultimate Coach.
Wow, that's fantastic. And as you know, I've read the book and yeah, it's fantastic. And I've actually got it on audio. So I've listened to it as well as followed it through. And it's fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing book. So where can the listeners find you online? What's your website, Angela?
AngelaMayora.com. AngelaMayora.com.
Thank you. So, thank you for sharing your insightful wisdom and knowledge with us today and for doing the work on yourself. By doing so, you have helped so many others and made a difference. I really want to acknowledge you for that, Angela Mayora.
Thank you so much. Let's go.
So, we are all about create the courage to be fearless. Actually, before that, tell me more about the let's go. Tell me more about the let's go before we go.
Let's go. I say
Mhm.
I vibrate at an extremely high frequency, and it's our
Mhm.
feelings that attract.
Mhm.
Our feel If I'm angry, if you're angry right now and I'm in front of you and I'm angry, like you attracted that. We
Mhm.
attract everything.
Mhm.
So I vibrated extremely high frequency. So one of my favorite things to say is, let's go, let's go. Like, let's go. Like, let's
Mhm.
wake up.
Mhm.
We don't have another shot at this life. This is not a dress rehearsal. We get one
Mhm.
shot. Let's make the most of it every day, every moment. That's what I'm thinking. I'm always saying that. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm glad you explained that because I hear you say it a lot and I wanted to know why. Excellent. So we are all about Create the Courage to be Fearless podcast. What is your definition of courage?
My definition of courage is having the mental strength to move into the unknown, take action in the presence of fear. The unknown is where the miracles happen. The possibilities are endless.